All right. Let's go ahead and give this an attempt. Pull them in. All right. Got that. Wait for them to come to us. Make sure I got the Quasar on. Everything else should be fine. All right. Wait for them to get close, and then we can start pulling them together and stacking up some elements of Elation and Bloodlust. Make sure they're all grouped together to get the shield properly aligned. Shoot him a little bit while we wait. Okay. That should be good. Go ahead and pull them forward. Okay, try to get them lined up on that corner there. Yeah, that's pretty much perfect. Okay. Quasar, switch to the Pandemic. Make sure we keep our stacks going. Alright, just throw everything we have left. Wait for all of them to come up. I think that one's early. I'm not really sure why that one's so early. There we go. There's all four. And we walk up. And fucking perfect. Let's go. Well, still perfect. I'll take it. That's it. I have no idea why the Nova went off after we killed him. It's interesting, but whatever. We got the kill. Pretty good demonstration of how it's supposed to be pulled off. Pretty happy with that. And I want to show exactly how to pull that off, but I think the stupid robots are going to be around. Oh, wait, no. Okay, he respawned. Okay, cool. All right, nice. We can go loot. And now that I've pulled off the kill, yeah, I have two kills to showcase now. I can kind of explain a little bit better how it works. But basically, the general idea is this, okay? You shoot Hyperius with the shotgun or whatever you have. It doesn't really matter. You shoot him, run out, quickly run back in. That way the gate will close. It will spawn the robots. But the robots are the only things that are going to be aggro to you. Hyperius will not aggro. He'll just stand there, which is what we want. So robots spawn in. We're going to stand in this little safe spot. Wait for them to get pretty much on top of us, or at least the ones that are closest, because the back two are going to be like over here, but the front two should be like right here. Then we're going to use Quasars, stack them up, keep moving them this way, stack them. And basically we want to like get them in this corner. We kind of want to have all four robots sitting like right here, ideally. Using the Quasar, we just want to stack them in this corner, spam the infection, spam Quasar, spam Pandemic to make sure that you keep your elemental elation and bloodlust stacks all the way up. Ideally, at least. It's technically not required to have like super high elemental elation stacks, but it definitely helps. But yeah, the idea is to stack them all in this corner with the Quasar, blow them up with the Norfleet, ideally all at the same time, so that way they all give the shield to Hyperius at the same time. You saw in that kill there that I had to wait a little bit because the shields were a little bit delayed. They didn't all give it to him at the same time. Ideally, you want to have it all at the same time. But yeah, basically, once we have them all stacked, we wait for them to give the shield to Hyperius. Once all four links are connected, we want to position ourselves in between the shields that they're giving and Hyperius, which is kind of why we're like standing right here. And then you basically want to aim right around here, where I'm looking, right where the boot meets his pants, like where it ends. This is kind of like where you want to be aiming. And you basically just want to spam shoot. And with the Quartz Oberkil and the Antagonist, you have a really high deflection chance. The Oberkil has a hidden deflection chance built into it because it's a gemstone weapon. And obviously the Antagonist has a 50% deflection chance, 880% deflected bullet damage, and 49% damage reduction. This actually is a perfect antagonist that I farmed legitimately. I mean, it's pretty easy to get a perfect one, to be honest, because all you have to do is save quit over and over again until the vendor gives you a perfect one. Not that hard. So yeah, basically the idea of it is to line those shields up, and then you're shooting him in the knee, and you're reflecting the damage back to him, like a bunch at once, and it just insta-kills him, as you saw. It is possible to do it without the Oberkil. I would say in terms of gear, like this Quartz Oberkil is going to be the hardest thing to obtain because it's a gemstone weapon. And gemstone weapons are rare, and on top of that, you're looking for the specific Quartz Oberkil variant because it's really good for landing consistent Hyperius reflect kills because it has an insanely high pellet count, really good fire rate, and of course the built-in deflection chance from bandit weapons. So this is the ideal weapon. It is possible without it, but you're going to have a harder time. I think an alternative I'd recommend that is easier to obtain would be the Jolly Roger. If not that, really any sort of like gemstone shotgun would also be pretty good. In any bandit one, I guess I should say. But yeah, and ideally fire element too. Yeah, other than that, the infection, to be honest, is more of like a luxury thing. I don't think this is super necessary for completing the kill. It just kind of helps to keep your Elation stacks up, but it's not a big deal. Norfleet is also not really that necessary. You can definitely just run like a corrosive Topneaa, and that will also do the trick. This Norfleet is actually legitimately obtained, so I was just showing it off. I managed to get a Vermi kill, and he dropped one, so yeah, pretty nice. If you can't get the Norfleet, I know it's hard to farm. I know it's not super consistent drop. A Topneaa will do totally fine. Like, don't worry. As long as you stack those robots up and spam it with the corrosive launcher, it'll get the job done. The Norfleet's obviously just easier because it does a shit ton of damage. Other than that, the Razed Toast COM, another world drop COM. Ideally get the +6 into elemental elation because you want max fire rate to get more chances to deflect, or reflect, I should say. So +6 into elemental elation and pain is power. Pain is power is actually pretty nice with this because we're not critting. We're aiming at his knee. So this is a rare case where pain is power actually makes sense. Other than that, you will need the Pandemic and the Quasar. Pandemic to keep your stacks going, Quasar to stack the robots up, and then a Bandit Allegiance Relic. And it is actually important that you get the damage and fire rate. Again, we just want as much fire rate and damage as possible so those reflections from the antagonist hurt like real bad. So that's the general idea. No badass rank was used for this. This is on OP10. Borderlands 2 fix is on, which fixes Hyperius' health. It is bugged in the vanilla game. He has like a fucking 50 billion health or some dumbass shit. I don't know exactly, but he's bugged in the vanilla game. I will say though, this deflection kill is still possible on vanilla. It just does that much damage that if you pull it off correctly, it will still insta-kill him even with the bugged version of Hyperius. So you can use this to do it, but I'll just go ahead and say you're going to have a hard time. I think it's already pretty hard to set up this kill consistently. It's taken me numerous attempts to get this. I've probably gotten 3 to 4 kills on him out of like, I don't know, 20 to 30 attempts. So it's pretty hard to set up, and it's going to be even harder if he has way more health. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, here's the build. Really, the only thing that honestly matters that much with this build is elemental elation, Bandit's power, and boiling blood, because we want to keep our bloodless stacks as high as possible. Honestly, everything else is like pretty much irrelevant. It doesn't matter that much. These are really the linchpins of the build and allow you to get that deflect kill. So yeah, guys, yet again, kind of approaching some different content, trying some different stuff. If you like it, let me know. I hope this was helpful, and kind of helps you guys take on some raids, because I think there's a lot of raid videos out there, but they don't really explain what they're doing. So I'm trying to help you guys actually do some raids, even if it's a little bit hard to set up. They're possible. So yeah. Anyways, hope you guys have a good night, and I'll see you next time.